parcel totaling 1.01 acres, addressed as 1029 Florida Avenue, located south of Rockledge Drive and the west side of Florida Avenue. The applicant is seeking to rezone the subject property from C2 General Commercial to RMU Redevelopment Mixed Use. The subject property is located within Planning District 2 and is currently zoned C2 Neighborhood Commercial. The surrounding properties are also located within Planning District 2 and are zoned for commercial uses on all sides of the subject property. The intent of Planning District 2 is to promote business development and commercial activity by preserving and enhancing areas designated for commercial land uses. The existing C2 zoning of the subject property is consistent with the surrounding development pattern and supports the planning objectives established for this district. Regarding the property located at 1029 Florida Avenue, the city has received, this would be the third, application requesting that the property be rezoned to redevelopment mixed use, or RMU. Each application has been processed in accordance with the city's established public hearing procedures, including a review by the Planning Commission and the final consideration by the City Council. Following public hearings, the previous applications were denied by both the Planning Commission and the City Council. In each case, staff recommended denial based on the proposal's inconsistencies with the city's adopted comprehensive plan. Specifically, comprehensive plan provides the following policy guidance regarding residential development within redevelopment mixed-use area. This is a quote from our comp plan. Existing residential development shall be retained on Florida Avenue. New residential development will be allowed in the redevelopment mixed-use RMU area as defined as follows. North city limits to the north, Dixie Lane to the south, US Highway 1 to the west, and Florida Avenue to the east, comprising approximately 16.2 acres. So to explain this map, I highlighted in blue the area that the comp plan is referring to. The very top of this, as you can see, I'm gonna come over.
Your pointers.
Play Vanna a little bit.
Okay.
The very top is the northern portion of the city limits, Florida Ave, Dixie Lane, and US 1. Our comp plan allows for RMU residential development in this area, is what it says. Point that out because we have had a previously approved redevelopment mixed use and apartments built in that area, which makes it consistent with our comprehensive plan. That language had not been changed since the advent of that plan. It wasn't amended to approve that property. It had always been there. The subject property is located south of Dixie Lane, and therefore it's outside of the geographic boundaries established by the comprehensive plan for new residential development within RMU area. As a result, the requested rezoning is not consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, which served as the primary basis for staff's recommendation of denial. The applicant has also asserted that the property may qualify under Florida's Live Local Act. However, the Live Local Act does not require local governments to approve rezoning requests. Rather, the Act provides certain development incentives, including provisions related to residential density, building height, and parking requirements for qualifying affordable housing projects locating on properties that are already zoned, for commercial, industrial, or mixed-use development. The The act does not supersede the city's authority to review rezoning applications for consistency with its comprehensive plan, or to approve or deny such applications based upon that review. This distinction has been communicated to Mr. Adicula on multiple occasions. The subject property consists of approximately 1.01 acres and is currently developed with an existing office building. The applicant has proposed retaining the existing office structure while rezoning the property to RMU in order to develop the rear portion of the site with more than 25 residential units. That would be a half an acre. In addition to the proposal's inconsistency with the comprehensive plan, staff identified several planning and site design concerns related to the intensity of the proposed development, including the ability to provide and require number of off-street parking spaces, safe and functional vehicular ingress and egress, compliance with minimum open space and pervious surface requirements, adequate internal site circulation, and compatibility of the proposed development with adjacent properties and the surrounding area. These plan considerations, together with the proposal's inconsistency with the comprehensive plan, form the basis for staff's recommendation of denial. After considering the evidence and public testimony presented during the required public hearings, both the Planning Commission and the City Council concurred with staff's analysis and denied each of the previous applications. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the proposed zoning district application and make a motion denying the proposed application. Before you continue, Madam Chair, I'd like to make one statement. Staff's responsibility in the application process is to review the application, to advise the applicant of the application's viability, which I have, and if the applicant chooses to move forward with the application, it is to present the application. Staff does not deny or approve applications. It is my job just to present evidence. The board and the commission are the ones who make the recommendations, any denials or approvals. Just wanted to make that clear for the record.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open this up for a public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in reference to this item?
Yes.
We do have a speaker card from
Okay,
Mr.
and
Blanche.
we go ahead and set the timer for 3 minutes, please.
This is
Well,
the
this is the applicant. He gets as much time as he needs to present his
Okay,
application.
thank you.
All right. Good evening. My name is Adicula. Address is 1029 Florida Avenue, Rockledge, Florida 32955. I'm the applicant and agent for Space Coast Real Estate Trust LLC, which owns 1029 Florida Avenue. First thing, Madam Chairwoman, I want to make a motion to recuse Commissioner Byrd since he has a restaurant, the Shooter's Oyster Restaurant on Florida Avenue. And he previously filed a, what is it, Form 8B? Submit that?
We'll let our attorney look at that.
That's fine. I only have 5 copies. So, first thing,
Can we wait, can we hold while our attorney?
Yeah, this is in reference to Commissioner Byrd. Looks like there was a Form 8B filed. I'm looking here to see precisely which item this was filed under. It looks like it was previously filed with respect to your son renting a building on the site. Was it this particular site, this location at 1029 Ford Avenue?
I'm very confused, but I know it.
Yeah, it looks like perhaps it was in reference to an agenda item that was before the planning commission related to the Turtle Creek development. Does that sound more familiar?
Right.
Yeah, you wanna take a look? If you could.
So,
That is correct. That was filed when we had the, public hearing for Turtle Creek.
Yeah,
It was filed for that
yeah, let's let the commissioner review it.
because of the, twisted birch was on the property.
Yeah, let's let the commissioner review it and advise.
okay.
Was that AB filed, and did you recuse yourself in reference to the property that is under consideration here at 1029 Ford Avenue? Or was that for a separate project?
I can speak on that.
Go ahead.
It was for a separate, it was for the project for Turtle Creek. It was not for this agenda item.
All right, very good. So,
I'd be confused, I know it did for Turtle Creek, but this is for Turtle Creek.
yeah, precisely. So, so a couple of things, sir. The applicants generally can't make motions here. Of course, I mean, treating this as a request that the commissioner recuse himself because he has a conflict that would preclude him from voting or participating in the proceeding tonight. He hasn't identified to me that he has a conflict, and the fact that he has identified a conflict for another separate matter doesn't mean there's a conflict here.
You're aware that him and his family owns Shooter's Oyster Restaurant, which is half a mile north on Florida Avenue, right across from Madison Road? And that creates a conflict of interest.
Can you explain how that would?
How, if I were to, I mean, I'm not in that restaurant business, but as far as in the future, I don't know, in case we sell or something and somebody opens a restaurant, something that will compete against him, you know, that's just it.
Yeah, so,
That's up to you, I'm just finding more.
well, yeah, well, it's not up to me. Florida law provides the instances when a commissioner on a planning commission would be required to recuse themselves, and, you know, one is not been identified by the commissioner. Generally, when we look at voting conflicts under Chapter 112, which is the applicable Chapter 4 statutes that would apply here, what we look at is whether or not there is a special economic harm or a loss that is attributable to the individual on the board. And so here, owning a restaurant half a mile away from the proposed site, you know, I don't think that is a special, there's a chance for a special economic harm or loss there. And the reason why is because we look at the size of the class affected by the decision, right? So, you know, there are lots of folks who own businesses or might own homes within half a mile or a mile of your development. And certainly they may all be affected in some capacity, but whether or not that amounts to a special economic harm or loss, I just don't see that here. So I'm gonna advise the commissioner that you don't need to recuse yourself because you own a business half a mile away from the proposed development here, all right?
That's right. So, if we, look at the package, the first couple of pages I got from Public Records Request. It is a email from Mr. Cooper to Mr. Bose.
Sorry to cut you off. Are you speaking about this document?
Yeah.
Or this pack, was this distributed to the board previously? Is this, would you like to enter this into
Yes,
the record?
yes.
Does the city, you guys have any objection to them looking at this?
I'd like to have a copy.
Yeah.
I only have 5 copies, I can get you.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I'll hand them out.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
proceed.
Okay. So here, he's responding, correct. I'm going to prepare a reply today simply indicating that if you would like to proceed, there needs to be an application submitted for the local. Any rezoning conversation attempt will need to follow the rules outlined in last year's denial. I believe he's telling the attorney to,
Excuse me, what page are you on?
first page,
First page. Okay, thank you.
yeah. To, start the process to deny. This is before the application was submitted as a predetermined, order, I guess. So, and, Mr. Rose does say that, per our conversation, Liverpool Act does not give rise to any sort of right to a rezoning. And then Mr. Cooper, let me know how you'd like to proceed. Since our last meeting, I have had 2 pre-application meetings with 2 different firms trying to get something submitted, in which they left the meeting understanding this could not work. And then, so this was, when I submitted an email, I asked some questions. It was sent on March 13th. Mr. Cooper, Mr. Rose, Dr. Federal, the mayor, and my planner, Darice Barbie, and myself. And so we had a meeting there, and we were told that I can have up to 30 units and 110 feet height, according to the local act. So, and Mr. Cooper said, in order to connect the buildings, he wants the roof, the new building to be in the back and the roof lines to connect. So after that, I wasn't sure exactly how that was gonna be, so that's why I sent all these questions, I sent some sketches. And, I told him if it's not in there, you can sketch or something, so we can, because we're trying to do a site plan, the engineering. So then I never got a response, and I also asked if I could submit a application for the local, with RMU rezoning in conjunction with the local act, because I want to proceed under the local act. So previously in 22, I was denied for RMU rezoning. In 25, I was denied for RMU rezoning again. And then Exhibit 2 here shows that, well, this is the site plans for Equals and Rockledge. So Equals was rezoned, but then I guess they had a hearing for the site plans. Exhibit 3 is a denial letter that I got from Mr. Cooper, dated March 27, 2025. First page states that, and I read all of it. Rockledge City Council ordered to deny the application to rezone the property based upon competent substantial evidence, and for the reasons set forth in staff report on application, a copy of which is incorporated herein. The motion carried by a vote of 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Excuse me, what page are you on now?
I'm on Exhibit 3. It's a
3?
Yeah, it's a denial letter I got from Mr. Cooper.
Right here.
He's got some numbered pages.
Oh, we got that.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. All right. Please continue.
Okay, so next page is the staff report. And page after that, he has incorporated a copy of the comprehensive plan. And he just showed that on the video. And if you look, policy 2, well, first of all, policy 1 says that development in this district will be primarily wholesale trade, retail trade, business, professional offices, public and semi-public services, and such other uses which support and are compatible with the intent of this district. Zoning district that may be appropriate for this area after due consideration by the city include RMU, C1, C1A, or C2. So previously in the application, he had stated that, the objection, he had stated that it is not compatible with the area, but it, in first policy specifically says you can have RMU. The second policy, which states, existing residential development shall be retained on Florida Avenue. New residential development will be allowed in the redevelopment mixed-use RMU area as defined as follows: north city limits to the north, Dixie Lane to the south, US 1 to the west, Florida Avenue to the east. So if you read that, it says, new residential development will be allowed. That's future.
Aren't you outside of that area?
I'm south of that.
All right.
We're gonna let
Okay.
him finish, because he'll go on.
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah. So that new residential will be allowed in the RMU area. And notice it doesn't say new residential will only be allowed in the redevelopment mixed use or RMU area. And then he wrote in there, the subject property is south of Dixie Lane and therefore outside of the defined limits of new residential development within the RMU area. So he's saying that our property is south of Dixie Lane, which is 1029 Florida Avenue, right? It's south of Bougainville. And it's outside the defined limits of new residential development within the RMU area. And the RMU area he's talking about is Madison Grove, Old Sears Mall, Old Carnival Mall. So our application was to rezone a property south of Dixie Lane, 1029 Florida Avenue. All that information was provided. It was C2, still a C2, into RMU. So he's saying the property is not inside the RMU area, therefore it cannot be rezoned. That doesn't make sense at all. And then, as we read further, number 5 says, it's under density. So it says residential development will be, remember will be means future tense, in the future, limited to existing densities, except for the 16.2 acres identified in policy 2, which is Madison Grove, which may be increased from 14 units to 25 units. So this density is regulating, I mean that statement is regulating the density for the Florida Avenue district. And it's saying everywhere else it will have the existing density, except in the Madison Grove area, which will be, it was 14, but with all the density bonuses, you can get up to 25. So if his argument was correct, that new residential is not allowed south of Dixie Lane, this directly contradicts it because it's saying residential development will be allowed. That's future residential, which is new residential. That contradicts it. It doesn't make sense because, I mean, his answer was, you're not in the RMU area. Well, I already know that. If I was in the RMU area, I would already be RMU. I don't need to rezone, right? So that's that. And then, of course, staff recommends City Council to deny. And then the other thing is, if you look at all the planning districts, there's 8 planning districts. If you look in, are you guys looking at that page?
Which page?
Say Appendix A, Planning District Guidelines. Okay, so for Rockledge Drive Area Planning District 1, it specifically says, number 3, to prohibit commercial and multifamily residential development. And then, let me see.
Sir, can we just, can we just stick with your planning district and stick,
Well,
go ahead and make
no,
your
no, no,
point to us?
no, sorry, so, basically, all the other planning districts use certain language, like this is prohibited, that is limited to. And our planning district 2 does not have anything like that as far as new residential. So, when you compare, the drafters are using this specific, language to prohibit any other, whatever it is. And that is not present in planning district 2. So we cannot say that new residential is denied south of Dixie Lane for those 3 reasons.
All right, I want to address that point right there, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
He does not, it's not his position to deny anything. It's our position. All he does is present. So if you could wrap this up, what is it exactly you're asking from the commission?
I want to rezone to our, let me finish, I have a couple more things to say.
Okay.
Okay, previously, we had a disagreement because our new regulation said you could have 2 separate buildings, and he's saying we have to have one building.
Excuse, I'm so sorry, commissioners,
Stop, I know.
if we
I
could avoid
apologize.
crosstalk, thanks so much.
That was my error, and I do apologize on that.
Okay.
Okay, so, well, yeah, we have a dispute in the sense that because our new regulation says you can have a single vertical building with commercial on the first floor, residential above it, or you can have 2 separate buildings. One can be 100% commercial, one can be 100% residential. If you look at all the one, even Eagles, that was approved after we were denied. I think it's just horizontal mixed use, which is just 100% residential. So that's one thing. And let me see. And so the last city council meeting, I also have the transcripts for the last planning meeting as well as a city council meeting. But the last city council meeting, some statements were made. So,
Oh, hold on.
Wait,
Can you
that's-
go on for just a moment? So, Madam Chair, can I address that?
Yes, please.
All right, so, I know you emailed the city about using, an audio file to, play for the board. And so, before you do, I wanna make sure that you understand that in order to, present that evidence to the board, you need a copy of the evidence so that we can have it in the record.
yeah.
Because it's not like live testimony.
I have
It's not
to.
like- You have a transcript?
Yeah. I was gonna give her, you're right, I was gonna give her, okay.
Yeah, do you have a copy of the audio file to give to?
I can get it to you today.
Okay, because for the board to consider, it needs to be part of the
It is
record.
directly from the recording that I got from the city,
Okay,
okay?
if that's what you got from the city, it's public record, so we have it, we just need whatever you're playing, so that we have it for the record of this hearing, if that makes sense.
No problem.
Yeah, very good.
So,
Thank you.
alright, this is.
I particularly have a concern right here off of Cogswell. This was a residential neighborhood that I grew up in as a child. Marita Bakery used to be right there where Blue Marlins is. And if you go through that development now, there are automotive shops in there. There is a crematory in that residential neighborhood that has elderly residents. So when it turned into a mixed use, that's exactly what you have now. There is a 2-story building that appears to be a business, a commercial business. It appears that the top floor are residences and the bottom floor, some type of a tool shop is being run out of it. I would not want that in my development. I don't think anybody that lives here in this city wants this type of or any of our residents that we represent want this type of mixed use within the city. So, if at some point the various areas would be more accommodating for this type thing, and if at some point the Florida Avenue parcel, as you mentioned sunset of the CRA, if you wanna look at it then, but for right now, I would not be in support of this. And if I'm in order, if there's no more discussion, Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to deny. Motion to deny.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
If I may,
Sure.
is there a direction to review that? We'll discuss it.
I think his direction is for you and the city manager to continue to discuss that.
Okay, so, I emailed Ms. Martin after that, and I wanna know the address of the crematory and the tool shop, because I'm not familiar with that area. And, she responded that the staff will contact you, and, Dr. Federer said, you can send me an email saying Mr. Cooper will contact you, and Mr. Cooper sent me an email saying that the crematory, is on Baldwin Street, and the tool shop is nearby. And the crematory is not mixed use, it's on industrial land, and the tool shop doesn't exist there. And none of that having anything to do with mixed use. So she's making false statements and making a false motion to deny. And, this is not right, because by doing that, she's wasted more than a year of her time and thousands of dollars. That just is not right. And also, Mr. Cooper did not correct her, immediately after, or the next day even, only after like 6-7 days later after I sent that email. And Mr. Cooper did not also mention that while they're denying me the RMU and everything, he could have said, hey, for the past 2 years, the local act went into effect, and under that, you can just build there without rezoning. So, I believe that's all wrong, and I don't agree with it. And so, but the core argument is that in his staff report now, it says I had to do parking and all this extra stuff. There's more criteria in there. Now, I don't think anybody, it's all site plan criteria. This rezoning is about one thing. Is my plan to rezone compatible and consistent with the comprehensive plan? Clearly, I showed you in there that it is. It does not deny that in the District 2. So, that's the only thing I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to, all that extra stuff he's telling you guys in today's staff report is all the stuff you do in a site plan review. That is way down the line. And he's trying to bring in extra stuff to prevent me from doing this project. That is not right. And, so that is it. And I want to be approved for RMU rezoning, which I should have been approved for RMU rezoning. And I submitted paperwork where we checked the transcript, compare the transcript, and it's always something different. The reasons are changing, before it was it's not consistent with the site plan, it's 2 uses. Well, RMU is supposed to be 2 uses, it can be 2 uses. And then it was spot zoning, now you don't see spot zoning anymore. So the reasons are not consistent, things are changing, and as this go, and if you deny me, I'll be back again next year. And the records are getting high, and I made a website, and I'm sending, even the narrative is now like 15, 16 pages. So it's just going to keep on increasing, and I don't want to deal with all that stuff. I just want to get my rezoning, which I should have gotten back in 22, because there's nothing in the comp plan that denies it. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
You go. Oh, I don't have any questions. I think the only thing we're looking at is the compatibility of the rezoning.
I have a question for Mr. Cooper.
Oh, he's coming up next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
So I don't think anybody on the board has any questions for you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, all right, I'm submitting all the paperwork, Amber.
Thank you. I'll try to address most of the things that were said. The initial thing that was said in the beginning is, the city attorney does not make any determinations about zoning applications. They don't make approvals or denials for the application. My response to the city attorney was based on whether or not I should reply because of the denial. So in our code, what it does say is that once a application has been denied, then the same thing cannot be reapplied for within 12 months. So my question to the city attorney was advising on whether or not, or how to proceed based on that language. It was not about approving or denying the application. I also think it's a little disingenuous. I sat down with Mr. Adicula in 2022, 2023 in my office several times to go over the application to try to find a way to make it a viable application. And as I've told him over and over again, we don't approve RMU or other development rezoning applications on a blanket approval because there's so many uses within those zonings that approving it just gives you carte blanche to do anything. So what he told me was what he wanted to do, which was apartments. So when we dove into that, we started to realize that it wasn't all compatible. So if you get RMU and you do apartments, here are the layers in which you gotta unfold that in order to make it work. That's when we discovered all the language about where it's restricted in our comprehensive plan. I have no qualms with building affordable housing according to our comp plan, according to our plan, wherever he wants to build it, if it's the highest and best use on his property. I'm only outlining what our comp plan says and what it does. The fact of spot zoning has been consistent. I do not, you've heard me say it over and over again. No, I did not mention it this time because that's something that is ingrained in how we review applications. But zoning is not just for the individual. Because if it were, we would rezone 14,000 properties in the city of Rockledge because everyone would come in and say, I need to rezone this property because I want to do A, B, C, and D. So when we look at it, we don't just look at what the comp plan says and these a la carte pick zonings. We look at it, we look at the surrounding areas, and we make a determination based on the best fit for the city in the future. So yeah, he's absolutely right. Florida Ave, Planning District 2, it does list RMU one of the policies. You're absolutely right. It also lists C2, R2, it lists a whole bunch of different things. But it also says what is best and what is compatible for the city and for the surrounding area. Everything that surrounds that property that's in red is C2. I'm not saying that he can't have RMU. What I'm saying is that from my perspective, and what's best for the city, is that RMU is not compatible with the surrounding area. And if we did RMU, what are you gonna build? If you're gonna build apartments, then show me how apartments would work on that property. If you're gonna do mixed use, show me how mixed use would work on that property. So no, there's not a different narrative. It's all the same narrative, but they're all connected. They're all connected because they have to be. Because we can't just rezone the property to one thing and you be on your way. We have to protect the city. And that's what we do in every rezoning. So when Councilwoman Martin made the statement that she made, in her mind and in her interpretation, that area is mixed-use development. Because her interpretation is mixed-use development is when I go down a neighborhood and I see different uses on different properties. It's not my job to correct council in the middle of what council's doing. That is not my job. So what I did is when she got in contact with the city manager, I replied to the city manager saying that no individual building is mixed use. But there is mixed uses there. There's a crematory, there's residential. The one house that she thought was a mechanical building, it's not. It's just a guy who's got a big garage. And that's what I said. It's not my job to make those corrections. It still has no impact on the application that was already denied. I can't go back retroactively and change what was already decided. So just wanted to clarify those things, and also to clarify that it's my job to help an applicant get to where they need to get to. But when the applicant does not want to believe what I'm trying to get them to, I can only present the facts to you guys. You guys make the decision that you want. And the facts are, yes, Florida Ave District does allow RMU development. You're absolutely right. The question that you have to consider, and I'll leave it to you, is RMU compatible in that district and in that area? And if RMU is compatible, then what use out of RMU would you allow in that area? And that's from the planning perspective. Sorry for being long-winded.
That's fine. Did you have a question?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I respond to that?
Thank you.
Just 1 second. Go ahead.
Mr. Cooper, what year did we adopt this portion of the comprehensive plan, please?
The portion of the comprehensive plan was in 2009, I believe.
I believe it was.
Yes.
Okay. I want to point out that in the RMU zoning code, what I'm reading here is that compliance and compatibility with the comprehensive plan is a mandate. It's
Right.
never E. I've done several live local projects, sir. I know what it takes to do them. I would have liked to have seen you present a project or a concept. You presented an argument. There's no argument here. It's not compatible. I'd like to make a motion to deny it.
Hold on, just,
He wanted to rebut.
Okay.
yeah,
Rebut.
just so we have a roadmap for the rest of the hearing, this is a good opportunity to question Mr. Cooper on anything you may have, and we should let the applicant respond to Mr. Cooper. We
Yes.
should call for additional public comment, if any, and at that point, close the public hearing and then have discussion to and from the board.
Thank you.
That's it. That's all I had to ask.
I have no questions, John. I have no questions.
Nobody has any questions?
That's great. Thank you.
Sir, did you want to come up?
If you'd like to give some closing thoughts, or if you'd like to discuss what Mr. Cooper said.
Thank you, so I disagree. He wants us to tear down the existing office building and build a new building with commercial on the first floor and residential above. Even though the code says you can have horizontal mixed use. And that, you know, you say that, it doesn't say that, and then he will go on about this is the true intention of mixed use, or the true intention of RMU, rather. And no document has ever been provided about that. It's just like he's making it up on, and it says the opposite in the code. So after the way, I mean, it's been almost 5 years. I've done, you know, I've tried to do this their way, you know. What he's trying to do is put a roadblock and saying, I gotta demolish the existing building. So, you know, you can't come here and say things like that. Yeah, of course, well, it's a presentation, but now they agree I'm eligible up to 30 units under the Live Local Act. So one of the questions I asked was, well, if I build one or two units, can I switch to can I rezone to RMU? Because what I want is, under RMU, the apartment sizes, the minimum apartment size is 550 square feet, whereas under C2, it is 800, plus there's more restrictive setbacks. But it's always the same runaround, and he would just say, oh, this is the true intention. All right, show me where the document is. There's no document. And that's not right. And I didn't say you gotta correct or admit it right during the presentation. You could have done it after or a day later. And all this time, the local act was active. And even with that, we sent a verification letter. It took like a couple of weeks for it to, I had to go, we had to get a meeting, and my planner had to drive here from Tampa. Mr. Bowles, I'm sure he had to come here from Orlando, just so Mr. Cooper can say, oh, yeah, you can get the 30 units and 110 feet. So it's been, my time and my money have been wasted. This is not right. And you can't just sit here and lecture me and stuff like that when you weren't here from the beginning. And I tried, I had another consultant, and last time, I thought we had some kind of deal, but then again, in the end, Mr. Cooper came and said, oh, no, it's not consistent with our, now you can say that, but I showed you the plan where it is consistent. You can say it any way you want, it is consistent, period. It's gonna be online, it's gonna be on YouTube, there's no way you can challenge it. Go ahead, try it, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, hold
Is it
on.
time?
If we could call for any additional public comments at this time.
No, I just want to make one comment in a rebut, that,
If you can do it after the public hearing's been closed, that would be preferable.
is there anybody who'd like to speak? At this time, we're gonna close the public hearing.
Very good, you can, floor is yours.
There was a comment that you just made that we weren't here from the beginning. There are some on this commission who have been here from the beginning of your application, who are very familiar. And what this board is here today to address is something very simple. It's the change of zoning classification without all the rest of the gobbledegook that came with it. So at this time, does anybody have any questions or discussions?
Ready?
You're the expert.
Well,
No, you are.
I'm not, but I will say this. In defense of this wonderful community, this board who's heard this twice, and Mr. Cooper, who I have lived here 8 years and found to be nothing but professional, I was a little bit insulted by the applicant, and I'm sorry, sir, I know that you're disappointed. However, I'm making a motion to deny this. I would like to make a motion.
I know that. Sorry.
To deny this application. I gotta read the right one. The blue one, thank you. I'm gonna make a motion right now to recommend to the city council that we deny, again, this application for the proposed zoning district change, because I'm gonna say it would indicate spot zoning. And sir, we don't do that in this city. This corridor is for business, it states that.
Can we?
Yes, I know, I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to recommend denial to the city council of this proposed zoning district change from C2 to RMU.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Thank you.